History remembers warriors, but legends are carved in blood.
Hold it right there. Now that was just the first parts of a movie trailer that I created using entirely free AI. Now this video is aimed at showing you exactly how I made this, and if you're interested in seeing the end result, just watch to the end. So what we're going to do in this video basically is to show, we've been talking about different AI tools, and mostly these tools have been almost completely free, or maybe some of them are actually just partially free, and I would want to use a combination of these tools to create something something that could be useful. Now what I did here was to have a checklist, and I named it AI movie checklist. And in every movie, a trailer like this, these are like all you would need. You would need a story which would be expanded using a script. You would need the video itself, the clip. And since we're using AI, instead of just telling the AI to generate a video, we would want to have some level of consistency. So what we are to do in that case is to generate images and then transform them to videos. And if you noticed, some of the tools that I've reviewed on this channel that create stories, like LTX Studio for instance, if you haven't watched the video, I'm going to link it above. What they do is they do all these parts. They help you with the script creation based on your idea. They use their own specific models to create images. They also use video, they convert those images to videos using models known to them. And then like LTX Studio for instance comes with an instrumental in the background, and then tools like Focal ML don't. You can also have narration for the tools I've reviewed, and sound effects, it's also an option for those tools. And this is very important, even though they have those features within, but it's not as extensive because they have like their own inbuilt video editors, but it's not like you using a clip that I've exported from somewhere to edit. So now we're going to use individual tools here, and there's no, like, we're not going to use a single tool that will cover everything. So now we start with the story/script writing. For this I used ChatGPT, which is obviously the popular tool that we can use. There are other NLPs out there, but then this so far works really well. ChatGPT is free to access, so you can go ahead and try using it. And this was a script I gave it. Since I have seen all those other tools work, I know what they expect from us for them to achieve the results they do. So that was what gave me an idea on how to word my prompt. This is the prompt: give me a script for a movie trailer. The trailer should be of a popular ancient story with popular characters. I intentionally made it this way. I could actually just mention just any story, but I added the popular ancient story, popular characters, and it's one that I was also curious to know what story this would come up with. I also continued by saying it should be an immersive story that will make people want to watch the main movie. Give it a title and the soundtrack too. When you do so, I need you to create video prompts for each scene, and then each scene will be a maximum of 5 seconds, because I know that the video generator I would want to use, just for us to access it for free, it has a maximum of 5-second generation. So I am including this in the prompt just so that it would know how to like put the prompt, which means the video prompts will be very descriptive and with the aim of to maintain a consistency with the characters. I also said it should give me image prompts for each scene first, then give me prompts to animate each of the images, and it would include camera angles, directions, and this I have seen in video generators that if you give image to video generator an image and you don't mention the prompt, it's going to just do whatsoever it likes. But that's not what we're after. This story is one that should show what those people are doing based on how the story is. So that's why I indicated this. When done, give me a clear description of how the soundtrack will be that will match the entire movie trailer, and this was just the prompt. So it gave us a title, and the title is Troy, a Falling Kingdom. Fall of a Kingdom, I mean. And a soundtrack name. The name of the soundtrack would be Fate of the Gods. And then this is, a general prompt of how the soundtrack would be. So it went ahead also to generate the script, and within each script there is a narration. And hey, look at this, Morgan Freeman's voice. That's the recommendation actually. And then the sound effects that we can use for each of those scenes. And then so it generated 7 scenes in general with narration, and not all the scenes have narrations, which makes a lot of sense, because you would want people to just enjoy those other scenes without actually listening to a narrator talking. And we have 7 scenes, and it went ahead also to give us this extra detail. And this would be how the title would be, like starting from you can put it at the end, and that was what I did actually. And this would be what you would hear, the sound effect you would hear when this title card comes up. Now the next thing is generating the images for each scene. And for each scene, these are prompts that are just straightforward and would help you generate images based on the story itself. And we have 7 actually, which matches the number of scenes. And animation. So for each image, this is the prompt to animate that image. When I was actually animating this, I noticed how the video generator did animate them, and for some I liked the result, but for others I actually had to tweak them. Like for this, for instance, I noticed that having a quick zoom to the character's face and then a fast cut into this, it was difficult for the AI to just merge this and give me a result that was a bit acceptable. So I had to just remove this 2 quick options, like the quick and the fast, and give it that prompt again. And this was what the animation prompts looked like. Then ChatGPT did a really good job in making sure we have all that we need, including the soundtrack and how it should sound. Now the next task is generating the images, and since we have our prompts here, we already have all the image prompts, these are the image prompts. So what we are left with is just to copy and paste. So if we copy this, like that was what I did. I used Flux because so far Flux Dev, this is a tool that I've reviewed on this channel from my video on several ways to access Flux. The aspect ratio is one that we need to be really careful with. So I just use 1280 by 720 for each, which is the same size with a YouTube video, and just pasted the prompt here. Now I like this because it's completely free, even though there is a form of limitation when you keep generating images at once, but you're not charged anything, and the result is very good. Let's just try generating this, and it doesn't take a lot of time for the image to get generated. I think when I was showcasing how to access Flux using different methods, this was probably the tool that passed all the check boxes, if I'm not mistaken, and it's actually found on Hugging Face. So it's one tool, it's the tool that made the entire just past everything that I gave it. And this is how the intro was generated, and just look at it. This is the intro. This might be slightly different from what like it looked in the video, but the difference isn't much because the prompt is the same, and all you have to do is just go ahead and download each image. But one thing that you should also note is these images are downloaded in WebP format, and the next tool we are going to use for converting this into video for free is one that accepts either JPEG or PNG. So you could go ahead and just convert this using any online tool. Just Google WebP to JPEG or WebP to PNG converter, and you have a lot of those tools available. Just drag all the images you've downloaded and just convert them to PNG or JPEG before you get them ready for the next tool. Now, since we have our image generated, which is the intro itself, I mean the first scene, as you can see, these are the images we've generated, and this is the WebP format of the intro, and this is its corresponding PNG file. I would recommend you just convert it to PNG because PNG tends to have like more maintain more quality. We are going to use the free version of Hailuo that I have reviewed in my, I think, last 2 videos. If you haven't watched it, I mean, just subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any of these things. Now it also has the image to video generate section, and yeah, it's free, so you're not going to escape these ads. And now what we are going to do basically is just to drag the image and drop it here. So if we drop the image, it appears here, and the next thing we would do is to use the prompt that is linked to the image. So we're coming back to this and go to the image prompt, the animation prompt actually. So I am going to copy everything within this parenthesis and then just paste it here as it is. Yes, that's one downside with the tool, because you won't really see what you've pasted. So when you highlight, you're going to see it. So I'm just going to click on generate. And yeah, so now that a lot of people know about the tool, they've included a check to just confirm if you are human, and this is what it does. So when you click on the generate section, you're gonna see it's going to queue it up, and trust me, this doesn't take as long as the free version of Hailuo will. And the good thing is you can queue up 2 generations at once. So when you do this, you just click on the next generation, as I mean the next image, add it up and paste the prompt, then generate, and you can just continue with other things and have these videos, these images converted to video in just a very short time compared to the free version of Hailuo. Now let me just show you some of the outputs I got from the generations. This is the output from like one of the scenes. Just look at it, it looks really nice. This is the next output. This is another one. These are very good outputs because they look, I think this is the last scene. Yeah, you really need to watch this trailer. So that's basically how you generate each of the videos. And then when you're done, when you exhaust everything here, the next thing is getting the sounds. And within the sound department, I have categorized it into three actually. There's the instrumental, the narration, and the sound effects. You heard the intro and the background sound itself, and that sound went like to the end. And for the instrumental, ChatGPT was able to generate something for us. So this is how the sound, this is the prompt that we would use just to give a description of what the sound would be. And to do this, we use a popular tool that we all probably know of, and drum rolls, it's Suno AI. All right, so with Suno, what I did was just to paste the prompt for the instrumental, but I didn't actually use this because if you notice at the end there was a description for how the soundtrack would be, and this is how the soundtrack is. So all I did was just to copy everything here. I know this isn't the conventional prompts as it would be, but these AI systems are really smart. So all I did was just to copy this and then pasted it here. But then before pasting it, I specified that I want it to be an instrumental, and then I just pasted it here. Then yes, I also gave it the name that ChatGPT had given it, Fate of the Gods, and this was the name, and that's what's appearing here. So we have two different versions. I listened to the two and I liked the first one better, so that was why I went with the first one.
If you like what you've been watching so far, then a like to this video and a sub to the channel will be massively helpful. Now let's continue with the video.
Now the next thing on our list is generating the narration, and for the narration, don't forget we're actually sticking to using completely free tools, and or tools that even if you are to be asked to maybe make a payment or subscribe, the free version would go a long way in helping you achieve what you want to achieve. So that's what we're aiming for. For the narration, I know we have several tools. I have reviewed the text to speech of using your cloned voices of Hailuo, but immediately after that review, that video went live. I don't know how long it took, but I'm very sure it was less than 24 hours. The tool became not completely free anymore. Credits were attached and you have to spend credits for each generation that you do, so it wasn't completely free. And for something like that, it's not going to fit into this use case. If not, I would have used the Hailuo or Minimax voice cloning service or voice generation service. So for that reason, I went with TTS from OpenAI. Now with TTS from OpenAI, there are so many voices that you can choose from. You could use the voices by OpenAI, or you could just use the system voices, and this is where you get a lot of options. Look at where the scroll bar is. These are all options that you can get from this tool. but what we are after is just a male voice, because if you noticed, ChatGPT recommended who is going to do the narration. So I think there was a part where that was the beginning. It mentioned Morgan Freeman. So if we can't get Morgan Freeman's voice, we could have cloned Morgan Freeman's voice using Hailuo AI's cloning service, but that would mean getting a lot of samples for Morgan Freeman's voice. You could try that, but I just decided to go with a voice that sounds a bit closer to that of Morgan Freeman, and Morgan Freeman's voice is a bit deep. It's that of an old man, so I just went with the gender as male, American accent. Age, I went with old, and I just started listening to each of these, and I added the one I preferred in favorites, and I think I went with Matthew. Matthew has like a voice that sounds a bit closer to, there's no voice that would beat Morgan Freeman's voice, so it's just we just have to find one that's a bit close. But if you really want to get that which would be almost exactly the voice, then you would need to probably just clone the voice. But this was what I went for, and then what I did was just copy the text here, and this is what was said. So after copying the text, pasting it here would tell the AI what you want the voice to say, and then click on create speech. Yes, I also noticed how this generates high quality audio, and that's why I prefer it over Hailuo AI's audio service. So I left everything as it is, and here you can select the speed, but I didn't really bother so much about the speed here because I knew that the video editor we're going to use would be one that we could either slow the speed or increase the speed, so it wasn't really something that I bothered too much about. So that was how we generated the narration, so for each of the narrations, and then that was how also we went through the different narrations here from the script. And for instance, I also didn't follow all the narrations because it didn't really make so much sense to me. So what I did was, the intro narration was there. I skipped this. I also tried generating it, but when I inserted it wasn't flowing as I would want it to, and I generated this, but this wasn't Morgan Freeman. This is an actor here, and the person from this statement, just know that the voice needs to be a deep voice, because like someone with a light voice can't just be like, no one leaves this war untouched. It doesn't sound right? So you need someone that would say, no one leaves this war untouched. So that was exactly what I did, and we ended up getting the narrations we needed, and that checked this box. Now the next part is generating the sound effects, and sound effects are equally as important when it comes to generating movies or anything that has to do with video consumption, because it's one of those things that complement either the instrumental or the narration or the video itself. So with this, I went with 11 Labs free version. Yes, you heard me right, the free version of 11 Labs. So with 11 Labs, just go to 11labs.io, and with 11 Labs you have access to, a lot of people mention how expensive 11 Labs is, and I agree with you totally, like completely. But it doesn't mean you must subscribe to the premium version for you to use it. There are predefined voices that you can use, and one thing that I like with 11 Labs is the availability of this. I mean, text to SFX, and SFX is the sound effect. So if you notice, this also gave us suggestions of like SFX. And in the trailer, while there was a background music, and then there was even a narration, there were some drum beats that you must have heard. If you go back to it, you could actually listen again, but I'm still going to show you the full video when this is all done. And this was one that I just copied this and pasted it here to generate the sound effect. Obviously you need to be signed up, and then you, without actually even going to the app itself, you could actually even generate it here from the home page. Just click on the text to SFX and then paste the text, and once you click on generate, it's going to generate 4 different versions, and you play to see which one works best for the scene. But I would still also just recommend you sign up, go to apps, and then just generate SFX from text. Once you have the one that you prefer, you download and keep it aside. Just make sure you have them properly labeled, or you could generate them later on when you start editing the video. Now we move to the next item, which is, after having everything, you would need to edit the video all in one place, and this is where Capcut comes into play. Alright, so when you create a new project on Capcut, all you need to do is just drag the individual, if you notice from this section, the media section, I have all the video files. So we have 7 video files. I also have all the sound effects and the background sound as well. And yes, I added just a Talking Tech with Williams logo as a watermark, but compiling everything just is just very easy. What I did was to name each of these files starting from the scene number. So I started they all have the name of the supposed movie, but then there's a number before it. So 1, and then Troy Fall of a Kingdom. 2, so it was easier for me to know how to use each of the where to place each of the videos, and then I just dragged them as they have been numbered. But what I did also was, after dragging them, I then dragged the soundtrack generated from Suno AI, and the soundtrack is one that would determine how long each video would be. Now remember that each video was generated with equal time frame, and that's a maximum of 5 seconds by Hailuo. But this particular soundtrack, if you notice from the waveform that you can see here on the sound, there are parts that the sound itself would go a bit down and then it goes back up. So that exact part is where a scene would change, and that was what I did. That was what I followed, and it applied to almost, not almost, but every scene. But you might have the question like, okay, these are supposed to be 5 seconds each, how come some are now longer than others? It's actually quite simple. All I did was select the individual video clip here and then change the speed. So if you notice, the speed here is 0.55x. For this, it's 0.57x. So you can see that the speed keeps changing. Now for each, when you change the speed, you would notice it either going becoming longer or shorter, and that is how you do the entire, you match everything. And for the SFX, I mean, you can just choose to like play around with it and know where this would come up based on how the soundtrack would be, and that's why you need to select a soundtrack that also catches your attention. And I added the SFX, and I also added the other drum ish stuff, and the soundtrack generated was just 1 minute 30 something seconds, and it based on the different speeds for each the speeds for each video itself, for each shot. It ended up matching the end of the soundtrack, and it sounded really nice to the end. And yeah, so the rest is just history, because this just texts added from Capcut's default template. So that's I mean how you generate video using completely free or almost free AI tools. A disclaimer that you should note is while I was generating the images using the Flux model I've shown, I noticed that after generating like 7 images, I was asked to just like slow down a bit and come back probably within a few hours. But it doesn't end there. If you want to maintain, I mean, using Flux for your generations, you can probably just watch the video I made on how to access Flux for free. So you could even use the Flux model from Piclumen. You could use some of the Flux models that I've shown you, just to ensure that it maintains that quality. But Flux Dev has worked really well for me. So now this is just what I wanted to tell you about. So to watch the trailer, which, well, for you to reach this part, it means you have tried, and I have to reward you with the trailer itself. So click on the video that you see on this page, and it will take you straight to where the trailer is. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.